Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is a premium ship review that I'm actually excited to do. Today we have the Tier 6 German light cruiser, the München, Municipal, Munchen. This is my build. Obviously I'm not going to get too much into it, but basically what we're going for is max fire chance. And to offset the range difference, we are using Kuznetsov as inspiration, and to help the AP out, we are using Yamamoto for the increased penetrations of the guns. Because with the guns, you only have 150mm guns. Why is that good and why is that bad? Well, it's good because these guns are German. So with HE, the German rule applies that German HE gets 1/4 penetration. So that means basically you divide 150mm by 4, and you get a really big number. I believe it's like 37.5. So that means you can effectively penetrate 37mm of armor, which, if you know any of the thresholds, most battleships are coded in 32mm. Something like a Jean Bart is almost completely 32mm. So with these tiny destroyer-esque guns, them being German, they penetrate as if a lot of other nations had equilibrium of power. But since you don't have to spec into equilibrium of power to get the penetration for these guns, you can maintain 100% of the damage values and 100% of the fire values. So that means we're basically walking around with an EOP light cruiser with 100% damage still on our guns and 13% chance of fire. And even, as you can see, the rate of fire is 5 seconds. I believe with this build here it's like 4.7, so it doesn't really matter too much. But we are running the refill station as well, which gives us plus 10% range if we are inside of detection of, or vicinity of, our friendly. So it is kind of nice. We don't have to. We can keep the fire chance as high as possible and also get the range here and there. But as you can see, even trying to hit this enemy München, who is going to make a really big mistake in about 6 or 7 minutes, we're actually struggling to shoot him and get decent hits. And something that I have found with these shells is the dispersion is kind of wonky. Like, it's oddly wonky. I put Scharnhorst on there for 1 or 2 games, and I was just like, man, I feel like I'm just wasting an inspiration slot. I don't know. So I decided to buff into Yamamoto to get the AP doing a little bit better. So, I mean, I'm still playing around this. I actually played 11 games of this ship last night, and this is my first time playing it. Won 10 in a row, lost, no, we played 12. We won 10, lost the 11th one, and then this is the last game that I played in it. And I was like, okay, this thing is pretty dang consistent. Last night was probably some of the most consistent fun I've had on Legends in a while. In this ship, I play this ship every single time. I don't know what makes it so good. And if you're wondering about my opinion of it, I think this ship is pretty top tier. I think it's up there with Nelson, Belfast, and honestly, Cossack. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's really, really solid. As you can see, we're getting, tons of penetrations, tons of full damage volleys, and we almost get caught by the Scharnhorst. So this could have been really rough. Something to note about this ship is that it is extremely lightly armored. I don't remember the total armor values, but it is the epitome of a light cruiser. Everything will pin you, everything will probably citadel you, so play it as such. That's why I was playing the islands, and that is also why I'm using Concealment Expert, because this ship is also very fast. I'm running I'm not really speccing into speed per se. I just have the flag, and I just have Mueller with his inspiration, and we can get 38.5 knots. That's pretty fast. That is pretty fast for the ship that not have an engine boost. And as you can see, a little demonstration of the AP here. We aim a little bit too high there, get some over penetration as Nuremberg is swinging out broadside. And there we go. No citadels there, but still good rate of fire, good penetrations, good DPM. And that's honestly all that we can ask for. What were we saying? Yeah, good speed, pretty good concealment, 10.8 with this build. It's just a standard concealment module, nothing crazy. And what else is there about the München that just makes it look... Oh yes, the sonar. The sonar has a ship detection of 5.4 kilometers. That is very, very good. I forget the duration of it. I believe I pop it sooner or later, so I'll try and remember to look at it. I pop it later in this game. But the sonar is fantastic. It's basically 5.5 kilometer radar for probably 3 times the duration. And it's just, the ship on paper probably looks a little weak, but with everything going for it, you know, the German quarter pin, the fire chance, the speed, it does have torpedoes. It has 2 sets of 4, 6 kilometers, 64 knots, very, very standard, very, very I mean, they're pretty good. They're pretty good German torpedoes, especially on things like cruisers and battleships. They're very standard. If you're familiar with German torpedoes on cruisers and battleships, you're not getting much different here, so don't be surprised. But they are there. They can act as a deterrent for battleships to come and hose you down, or any kind of ship trying to take advantage of your weak armor. And this is where I was really, really worried, because this was the first game that I had actually been pushed out of a situation or a kind of an island spot to where I would have to kite, and I was worried that this ship would struggle kiting, just because if I get hit anywhere, the damage is going to be done and I can get citadeled very easily. So basically what happens next is just throttle control, I'll say. I always run propulsion mod, and the things that you have to realize if you're going to be put in these kiting positions is basically you have to pay attention to the enemy ship's reload, especially if it's easier if it's a battleship. Pay attention to the ship's reload and throttle all the way forward at a somewhat of a broadside, and then right about when you think they're about to shoot, throttle all the way down and then turn out. And what that's going to do is it's going to make them shoot where you were going. And this guy does this probably 5 or 6 times, and we slowed down all the way, turned out, he misses. If we were broadside, that probably would have been a very unfortunate salvo for us to take. But again, you're seeing the guns and the reload and the fire chance all come together here. 2 fires, 2 salvos. Again, I knew his reload was about, 17, 18, 19 seconds. So after a couple salvos, I'm like, okay, this guy's probably about to shoot me. Turn out, it's all good. And I believe he does it one more time before he goes down. We're actually very, very far pushed out. But when I was finishing with this engagement, I was really like, we actually conserved a lot of health there. Again, timed his reload, baited him to think I was going full broadside. As soon as he shoots, throttle down, turn out, and make him waste 5 salvos on me, basically getting 0 damage. And it was actually at this point in time where, I thought we were dead. If you just noticed, our base is being captured. We have a Helena who is actually one of the most clutch people in the game. He is AFK, and he does not come back to the game at all. So he will be sitting there nice and pretty to soak up some incoming damage. And the really funny thing about this is the enemy destroyer is a Gnevny, which does not have the torpedo range to go out and kill that Helena. So this Helena is going to sit right there, pretty much just docked in port. The Gnevny gets spotted. I'm about to use the sonar here. I knew as long as I could dodge torpedoes from this guy, the first set or the second set or whatever, I knew that this guy was mine. 5.4 kilometer hydro is a very long way. 2-minute hydro. 2-minute hydro with 5.4 kilometer detection. I think it is 3.8. It's 3.8 kilometer detection for the torpedoes. Easily notice those torpedoes, and I mean, this guy's stuck. There is nothing he could do. He could have shot his guns. I'm not sure why he wasn't, but there's just so many little things about this ship that go just so well together. And I just feel like the ship should not be this solid. I don't know. It feels, I would recommend it 100%. I think it's a joy to play. I have not had this much fun playing Tier 6 since probably Nelson or Belfast. And that's saying something. I usually don't enjoy Tier 6 too much, but this ship kind of starts to enter in the next era. If you have watched any sort of PC, they have ships like the Mains and the Vima, who are, the Mains is out. Basically, the Mains and I think it's the Vimar, same ship as the Munchen, but they just have more guns. So if I were to expect anything from Wargaming, I think the Mains could be a Tier 7 light cruiser for Germany. So basically the Munchen, but with 12 guns instead of 8. And then at some point we will get the Hindenburg, which is basically the Hipper and the Prinz Eugen, but with, instead of 8 guns, you have 12. So a lot of fun coming down the pipe, I hope. This is a kind of scary engagement here because I did not want to turn into the München here, but he is shooting HE, so I'm going to take this chance to kind of play it carefully. I want to get around this island because I'm going to have to take on these guys 1v1. This thing is so lightly armored. HE will shred this thing. I've had multiple games in this ship where I had cornered a destroyer, and the destroyer actually went out shooting and did significant damage to me. I think a kid took probably 10,000 of my health when he was basically dead, just from guns. So if you're not very good at health conservation and you get smacked a lot, this ship is probably going to be a little bit difficult to play for you. But if you're someone who likes the island kind of hopping play style, this ship is a lot of fun. It's a nice twist on light cruisers. You don't have to spec into IFHE to get work done. It's just overall has... It's a fun version of York, I guess. Basically the same ship in terms of, you know, torpedoes and sonar and German. But these guns just hit above their weight because of the quarter pin with the HE, and the AP is fantastic, as you're about to find out this München. I was worried about this guy because I was like, okay, München's a good ship. This guy could definitely do some damage to me. But for some reason, he's chasing the AFK guy, and the spawn, who is not playing, who is not shooting back, gives me flat broadside, and that was a fantastic display of the armor piercing. The armor piercing gets the work done when you need to. It is actually fantastic against broadside battleships as well. If you've played Cleveland at all, or any of the USN light cruisers, then you'll know what I'm talking about. The AP versus any sort of broadside is fantastic. This is another shot against the Belfast, who is shooting at a AFK target, and I think I should have shot a little bit forward because his angle was a little bit awkward to me. He wasn't flat broadside. So we missed the second devastating, well, we missed a devastating strike there in my opinion. And luckily, I have deterred the Belfast from shooting, because if you realize, the points are close. The points are 154 to 417. There is not much we can do here. We don't have to kill anybody, but I have to deter this Belfast from shooting my teammate, and I think I look back. Yep, and that is the game. So guys, this is my first kind of impression / review on the München. I think it's a fantastic cruiser if you are looking into this kind of ship. I actually think it's pretty good. It gets my approval. I can't wait to play it more, actually. So hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys got something out of it. and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.